afternoon, Sir Mark, and good afternoon, classmates. Today I will be discussing about Filipino values of diplomacy. For the objectives, first, define a diplomatic person. Second, explain the importance of diplomacy in Filipino context. Third, recognize the meaning of diplomacy according to Tagalogs. And fourth, explain the advantages and disadvantages of being diplomatic. So according to yourdictionary.com, diplomacy or diplomatic person is someone who can be sensitive in dealing with others and who can achieve peaceful resolutions or facilitate discussion. A person who doesn't take sides in a fight, but who instead helps others to resolve their differences is an example of someone who is diplomatic. Cambridge University also defines diplomatic as a person who is able to control a difficult situation without upsetting anyone. Lawyers, for example, should be diplomatic in dealing with a judge. By using your diplomatic skills, you can help others solve conflicts. For instance, help others listen to all sides of a situation and work together to find a solution that is beneficial to everyone. Diplomacy should be understood as mahusay na pakikitungo or tactful dealings, mahusay na pakikibagay, smooth personal relation or magaling na pagkikipag-ayos o pagkikipagkasundo, or the excellent way of making compromise, concessions, accommodations, settlement, and rapprochement. So being diplomatic means mahusay na pakikitungo, magaling makibagay, magaling makisama, magaling makipag-ayos, o makipagkasundo. By nature, Filipinos are conciliatory, accommodating, and diplomatic. So what does it mean being a conciliatory? It means that you show willingness to end a disagreement or trying to make someone less angry. No? A conciliatory gesture or remark. So we have here examples of diplomacy. First is tactful dealings. So tactful dealings means the ability to assert your ideas or opinions, knowing what to say and how to say it without damaging the relationship by causing offense. Tact is the art of making a point without making an enemy. So why is tact or being tactful important? You know that tact is the ability to communicate with sensitivity offers many benefits. No? First, tact is important when you have to deliver bad news or provide critical feedback. Okay? Whether in a personal or professional situation. Also, communicating tactfully strengthens your reputation and builds your credibility. All right. So rapprochement also means an increase in friendliness between two countries, groups, or people, especially after a period of unfriendliness. So Filipinos possess a common principle regarding the priceless value of peace and reconciliation, harmony and brotherhood, and love for one another. Reconciliation helps in making two people who are in a conflict come to a truce or agree to make amends. No? Most of us Filipinos prefer peace as peace grows through non-violence, acceptance, fairness, and communication. So when there is peace, there is harmony. Next, diplomacy according to Tagalogs. So kapag ikaw ay pagparaan, ay paparaanin ka naman. So if you give way to others, you will be given way to. No? So I have here by interpretation as an idiomatic expression of giving way, it means that you stop arguing or fighting against someone or something. Filipino thinks that good karma will come if they are humble at all times. So to prevent being offended, no, Filipinos tend to agree also to something that someone else wants without forcing others to agree your side. So you are giving way. Another one, ang salitang matamis sa puso'y nakakaakit, pampalubag ang galit sa taong naiinis. A sweet word is soothing to the heart, it will appease an angry person's hatred. So we have a responsibility to speak nicely to those we interact with, regardless of any circumstance. When someone barks at us or throws insults our way, this does not give us the right to treat that person disrespectfully. No? Sweet words could help. Okay? Though this does not mean we need to accept the behavior, but at least we do not add fuel to the fire. So there is a saying that sweet words are divine to everyone. Sweetness always represents kindness, generosity, compassion, respect, comfort, and peace. So on the other hand, harsh words are always like holes, nails, and scars, which last long and never forgotten. So harsh words always generate negativity, pain, and suffering. Another one. Mas malakas ang bulong kaysa sigaw. A whisper is louder than a shout. It could mean selective hearing. When you shout, there might be an instance that someone refuses to acknowledge you. But when you speak softly and nicely, maybe you'll be given a chance to be heard and listened to. And a problem can be solved in a calm manner. If you want to raise a disagreement, converse calmly and do not shout for you to be acknowledged. Okay? No person would want to entertain justly a person who doesn't have manners. Okay, the next one. Kung magagawa rin lamang ng paupo, ay wag nang gawin ng patayo. So if it can be resolved by means of sitting down, then it should not be done by standing up. So what does it mean? It could mean negotiation can be done without using force. Okay? In negotiating or in negotiation, it is important to build connection. Fighting causes damage but never creates peace or solve problems. And it's hard to deal with an issue if you are using force. So the meaning of diplomacy in general is a matter of give and take approach to a problem or conflict as the case may be. It is the art and science of maintaining peaceful relationships between nations, groups, or individuals. Often, diplomacy refers to representatives of different groups discussing such issues as conflict, trade, the environment, technology, or maintaining security. Moreover, the Tagalogs would prefer the sitting position approach rather than the standing position approach. So we have here also other interpretations of being diplomatic. According to Bicolanos, gentle words soften the heart. Ilongos also asserted that a gentle way of speaking will appease animosity, while harsh words will further fuel it. So when we say animosity, it is a strong feeling, no, of dislike or hatred. So Ilongos believe that harsh words or aggressive words begin to cause more anger and disconnect in the relationship. So therefore, it is necessary to speak gently. Next, according to Cebuanos, soft talk sounds stronger than loud talk. So when you speak softly, people listen better. You can deliver your message more effectively when people listen to you without feeling, or while people is listening to you without feeling threatened. Theodore Rice also said that to speak softly is better than to shout. So you need to speak softly. No, shouting does not solve problems. Shouting can cause one to make angry and get frustrated. The Magindanaos also said that a shout is faint and inaudible, but whisper is clear and forceful. So same with the this is the same with the Cebuanos, no? Next, Ilocanos. A hurtful word is like a deadly poison, but a nice talk is like a fragrant flower. Okay, in other words, harsh and aggressive words could cause more anger and disconnect relationship. Ilocanos also added that fine words are strong and attractive as a magnet, meaning fine words can inspire or bring tears among people, and it fills up a person with positivity and alleviate stress. Aklanos also said that cold water is used to put out fire. So the diplomatic metaphor of the Aklanos is that as you pour out more water over fire, both the heat and the fire itself will be put out. Whereas if you use fire to put out fire, you will end up with a bigger fire. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages of being diplomatic. Let's talk about first the advantages of being diplomatic. Number one, it pays off to be diplomatic. Second, one is able to win over people. Third, keep enemies at bay. Fourth, settle disputes amicably. And number five, it makes you closer or more closer to people as you are less likely to offend them. In other words, when you do positive things, it yields also a positive aspect. Now, disadvantages of being diplomatic also is here, no? You may not come across as a genuine person. People may not believe in what you say. Others may behave cautiously towards you. And lastly, one may not appear as a warm person. In other words, class, people will be doubtful in approaching you because you seem to be good enough in dealing with them. And it's unusual for people to be always good at all times, okay? That's the time they may tag you as fake or ingenuine. Or worst case is they may call you as plastic. In conclusion, one effective way to establish rapprochement, rapport, and goodwill is to be subtle and smooth in our approach to a conflict or misunderstanding. For the Filipinos, it is more effective to resolve any strife in diplomatic way than to employ severe and drastic means of force. The sitting stance approach to settle friction or dissension is done through a suave, smooth, and friendly process, whereas the standing stance approach is harsh and rough and will only add more insult to injury. Lastly, diplomacy has existed since the beginning of the human race. The act of conducting negotiations between two persons is essential to the upkeep of affairs. Among its many functions is that it helps prevent war and violence, and it fortify relations. Diplomacy is most importantly used to complete a specific agenda. Therefore, without diplomacy, much of the world's affairs would be abolished, international organizations would not exist, and above all the world would be a constant state of war. It is for diplomacy that certain countries can exist in harmony. So, according to Harold Nicolson, a British politician, diplomacy is neither the invention nor the pastime of some particular political system, but is an essential element in any reasonable relation between man and between nation and nation. J.R. Berridge or G.R. Berridge also added that diplomacy can produce the advantages obtainable from the cooperative pursuit of common interests. And it is only this activity that can prevent violence from being employed being employed to settle remaining arguments over conflicting ones. And that's it for my discussion today. Thank you for watching this video and thank you for listening as well. Have a good day.